Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Host Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. A police inspector in Trinidad and Tobago is among 3 being charged with gun trafficking. This story takes the lead in a 1082nd edition of Caribbean Perspective for Friday, 2nd April 2021. Details after this break.
Did you know that your friends and family can now shop at the food fair from anywhere in the world and you can receive here in Grenada? The Food Fair and GrenadaMarket.com now make it possible through secure online shopping and personalized customer service. Simply send your loved ones a list of your preferred items or let them fill an online basket and the items will be available for pickup or delivery. Visit GrenadaMarket.com or thefoodfair.gd today for more details. The new norm. Spread the news.
Welcome back. A female police officer is among 3 people charged with gun trafficking following the discovery of a firearm with ammunition and a silencer at a house where the trio resided. Curlan McKenney, an acting police inspector attached to the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service (TTPS) police band, was granted bail in the sum of 20,000 TT dollars with a surety when she appeared in a magistrate's court. She will reappear in court on April 22nd along with co-accused Cindy Gonzalez, who was granted bail in the sum of $20,000 with a surety or TT $5,000 cash bail. A third accused, Jabari Miranda, was remanded in custody. The 3 reside at a residence in Arima where police allegedly found a Bulgarian Makarov .380 pistol fitted with a magazine and 3 rounds of ammunition and a firearm silencer. The discovery was made during a search that was conducted as part of an anti-crime exercise of the Southern Division last Tuesday. In other news, Guyana's opposition leader calls out the government on the shortage of drugs in that South American country. Gordon Mosley of News Source Guyana reports.
Opposition leader Joe Harmon today sought to clear the APNU-AFC from the drug shortage scandal that is currently dogging the health sector. Recently, it was announced by the Health Ministry that more than $10 billion worth of expired medical supplies were dumped over the past 5 years, and that compounded the current drug shortage. The former coalition government was blamed for the problem. But during a press conference today, opposition leader Joe Harmon said the coalition will not be taking the blame for the negligence of the PPP. He said the drugs that were dumped were drugs that expired long before the coalition took office in 2015.
In recent months, we heard from the Minister of Health that the current drug shortage is because of the APNU-AFC management of the health sector. The media was fed with the usual lies that $10 billion of expired drugs had to be dumped, and that the fault was that of the APNU-AFC government. We wish to make it pellucid that these drugs were expired since 2013.
The opposition leader said the president and the vice president recently met with regional health officers who were asked to assess the drug shortage in their regions and provide a report to the vice president. According to a correspondence seen by News Source, the RHOs were also asked to develop a national emergency order and forward that order to the office of the vice president. Mr. Harmon said he suspects the government may be trying to create a smokescreen to sole source the drugs and hide from the procurement process.
So what you hear next? $385 million worth of drugs, contract awarded to Western Scientific. This is a company that was blacklisted by the IDB. And so we did not deal with that company because of the blacklisting status during our administration. But as soon as Jagdeo come in, bypass the procurement system, bring the list to me, and I will find a way. And this is the way he finds.
Mr. Harmon said the single sourcing of medical supplies dates back to pre-2015. He also noted that while there appears to be a genuine drug shortage, the administration seems to be manufacturing some of the issues so that persons and businesses aligned to the government could cash in on what he called a manufactured crisis.
So what we are doing now, the whole system now, as far as we understand it, the whole procurement system, the systems of transparency and accountability, have all collapsed into the hands of Barrett Jackio. And he is determining who gets what. That is what we've come to. And so this is why this drug shortage, some people feel it was artificially created so that they can do what they want here. They can just go and single source and shop as they want.
The health ministry recently announced that efforts are currently on the way to purchase hundreds of millions of dollars in drugs to ease the shortage that is taking place across the country.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
The increase in alcohol consumption during the COVID-19 pandemic is a cause for concern in St. Lucia. The Substance Abuse Advisory Council Secretariat is worried that excessive drinking may be compounding efforts to bring the COVID-19 situation under control. Gina Felipe of HTS News Force reports.
Are stresses of the pandemic compounding a chronic epidemic of alcohol use disorder in St. Lucia? A recent ban on liquor licenses to combat COVID-19 a few weeks ago stirred passions. No sooner was the ban lifted, came a run on alcohol with an ensuing social media gallery of photos and videos of persons apparently under the influence and engaging in reckless behavior. Law enforcement and medical officials are alarmed at the rate of excessive drinking and the attendant health problems. With the Easter holidays around the corner, St. Lucians are expected to be in the throes of passion once again in their never-ending love affair with the bottle. The Substance Abuse Advisory Council Secretariat hosted a panel discussion on the growing public health issue. Consultant psychiatrist at the National Mental Wellness Center, Dr. Naomi Jean-Baptiste, explains that the road to recovery, like most treatment programs, begins with the country admitting that it has a problem.
I saw a lot of videos that were going around on WhatsApp after the alcohol was released, after we had the 2-week stint of no alcohol. And you could see people like they were so happy and insulting everybody and everything. Like they don't realize that they have a problem. Everybody else does, but they don't realize. And there's another thing, like a lot of our homes have single parents. And if you have that single parent using alcohol, the children are at risk because when that parent is drunk, other people could seize the opportunity to go and abuse their children. So that's another thing. So we really need to recognize first that there's an alcohol problem, and we have Turning Point at which is an alcohol rehab center, but then people are reluctant to come forward to go to Turning Point. I don't know if it is because of stigma, or I don't know what it is, but they don't come.
Pathologist Dr. Stephen King homed in on the effects of alcohol toxicity on the body. Dangerous blood or alcohol levels are not just about the rate of consumption, but volume, particularly in cases of alcohol poisoning.
Then you move to about 200 milligrams per deciliter. You've now had about 6 drinks. You are now drunk. That is when you begin to stumble. That's when you can't coordinate properly. Your decision making goes off. You have another 3 or 4 drinks. You've now reached to 300. When you get to 300, we call you dead drunk. These are the people that are beginning, their eyes closing on them, and they want to go and lie down or fall down in a corner. They can't hold themselves up anymore. They are bordering on going into a coma, like Dr. Jean-Baptiste mentioned. And if you get to 400, we call you dead. At 400 milligrams per deciliter, you are dead. Your body cannot tolerate that much. The studies show us that most people who die, the average is actually 355 milligrams per deciliter of blood.
Public Relations Officer in the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, Corporal Anne Joseph, has worked with children whose parents struggle with the disease of alcohol use disorder.
One of the responsibilities is actually as it relates to children, creating safe environments for children, reviewing whether there's any sort of abuse, and psychological abuse is actually unlawful. Yes. So children would be removed from the homes with the assistance of divisions such as the Department of Human Services. Children would be removed from these environments because you have created an unsafe environment.
Antiguans and Barbudans can now begin using a digital version of the EC dollar to make transactions. The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank launched its Dcash via a Zoom event on Wednesday last, about which ABS's Jamie J. Roger reports.
It's been touted as the future of the Eastern Caribbean dollar. The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank says its digital currency, Dcash, is safer, faster, and cheaper than using physical money. At a Zoom launch Wednesday, Central Bank Governor Timothy Antoine says the future is now. He says when the bank began the project, many thought the idea was extreme.
Today, almost 9 in 10 central banks are working on central bank digital currencies. Indeed, the extreme is fast becoming mainstream.
Dcash is now live in pilot member states Antigua and Barbuda, Grenada, St. Lucia, and St. Kitts and Nevis. Other member states will join the pilot between now and September.
Unlike physical cash, digital cash cannot be stolen. In the context of the ongoing pandemic, where physical and social distancing are required, Dcash offers a contactless method of payment.
The governor says the central bank has embedded anti-money laundering and combating the financing of terrorism protocols in the Dcash design. He says they've also incorporated cybersecurity industry and best practices and encrypted transactions for privacy. The central bank has partnered with Barbados-based financial technology company BIT Incorporated to develop the digital currency. CEO Brian Popelka congratulates the ECCB for its foresight.
Our shared mission of increased financial inclusion, improved settlement time, security, and cost savings through innovative financial technology will benefit the ECCB's member countries for generations to come.
It takes about 3 seconds to transfer money through the platform using a smartphone. Participants in pilot member states demonstrate this by passing around Governor Antoine's 100 Dcash before sending it back to his digital wallet. There are no transaction fees, and you can register for Dcash with or without a financial institution. The app is free for both iOS and Android devices. Jamie J. Rocher, ABS News.
Governor Antoine, meantime, says Dcash will help people with financial management.
Using the reporting functionality in the Dcash app, users of Dcash can track all their expenditure. Users will now no longer wonder where their hard-earned money went or how it was spent.
Last year was great. This year will be better. Data, internet, drinks, groceries, fuel, cooking gas, electricity, savings account, property or vehicle insurance, Hubbard's, promotion coming soon.
I am Eddie Frederick, wishing you a restful weekend. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.